discussion. Can't you see them dad boys are casting? Testing competition on their podcast mission. Never know what you get. It's chaotic precision. If you don't know, you better find out the dad pack. I'm here to prove a point. We three kings just believe that you don't want to tussle with them. This show is thunder. Subscribe and tune in, and you're laughing to the very end. Don't turn your back on the dad pack. Don't turn your back on the dad pack.
Put the kids to bed. The dads are home. We are the DWO podcast, representing the dad world order, where the jokes are bad, the advice is questionable, but the love is all real. I am the pretty-faced papaw, Mr. Magnificent, Mike Martin. And with me, as always, the rest of this patriarch pack. We've got the big, bad, bearded daddy. He is Big Rig Eric Maffey.
Honk if you hear me, baby. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. 10-4, good buddy. And he is the perpetual mid-carter and the two-time world record holder. He is the wrestling t-shirt guy, Bo Cephas.
Cowabunga indeed. It's day 1,404 of my world record setting streak, and we're rocking a Switchblades, John Moxley, and Sami Callihan shirt today.
Love that. Hell yeah.
Sammy.
Shout out to him. Well, as Mr. Magnificent said, we are the DWO podcast, and we are back after a little 2-week vacation. And we are so glad to be back because we have a very special guest with us tonight. And really, he doesn't need a whole lot of introduction because I guarantee you most of the people watching right now already know who he is. Shawn, RGT 85 Long. Sir, how the heck are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Thanks for having me on. Should be a fun show. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Got the appropriate gear on, I gotta say.
I'm black and white though. This is red and black territory.
I mean, we got them both.
It's
We
in our
actually started out as black and white.
Okay.
And we kind of, I don't know, like all of our merch, we have both with like our merch. We have black and white, and you know.
I don't think I have any Wolfpack stuff anymore. I do have I don't know, like, I don't want to go off the rails too early.
No, go off the rails.
So like when we were in 8th grade, like when the Wolfpack came along, like it ended up becoming at our middle school, like half of our friends were black and white and half of our friends were red and black. And like we would like beat the shit out of each other like during periods and stuff. I remember the worst part was me and a buddy had pushed this kid down a flight of stairs and he like twisted his ankle and like the principal got involved and stuff. Like, you know, we didn't mean to hurt him or anything. Like, we were just messing around. But like we had like a whole thing where me and my best friend were like split. So he was red and black, I was black and white. And we had like this whole angle going on because we did like backyard wrestling and stuff. And we, of course, incorporated it into our middle school. And so like everyone thought that like we were going to throw hands and stuff like that. It was going to become this whole thing. And we both had English class together. And in the middle of English class, I was wearing a black and white shirt. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. He was like, okay. And I just got on top of my desk and I was like, fuck this shit. And I ripped the shirt off and I had the red and black on underneath. And then we did like the Wolfpack thing. And then we both got sent to the principal's office. It was fun, man. It was a crazy wrestling time then.
Yeah. I feel like the kids these days have a time that they're enjoying like that. Me being a father, I've said it several times on this show. Me being a father has really shaped how I have seen this Jey Uso run. Jey Uso is an adult for me. I'm not into it. But as my son's father, I am super into watching him love Jey Uso. So it's almost like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's like I have a different respect for him in a way that I didn't expect to have.
Yeah, I'm a fan of him. I really don't watch too much modern product from WWE anymore. Just a lot of the stuff just doesn't really super interest me, and the people that I am interested in don't seem to be like big enough focal. Like Jacob Fatu, I think Jacob Fatu should be murdering everyone. He should have he should be in the world title stratosphere and stuff like that. They always kind of, you know, halt his pushes, and you know, he's not exactly a young star anymore. Like he's, you know, I think he's in his mid 30s and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, seize the opportunity before, you know, he gets, you know, too banged up or stuff like that. But you know, just the spreading out of the product. It's like you got to have Netflix for Raw, you got to have USA for SmackDown. It's just like fuck. And then with the whole Peacock, you know, moving to ESPN Plus, I was just like, I'm good. You know, I'll catch it.
Well, and ESPN's in a whole bunch of shit right now too because of the billionaire off they're having with Google and YouTube TV.
Oh yeah,
they're not paying enough. Well, they're not paying too much, and it's just like, okay, you both have billions of dollars. Just let us watch TV, please.
Yeah, like just let us watch them. And then there's the whole TKO thing and this, that, and the, you know, the fucking ads all over the ring and stuff like that. It's like, come on.
Did I hear do they have AI writing storylines now?
That was supposedly, I think Meltzer reported that, and there was some pushback on it to the point of where there's just something that was being explored. But I wouldn't necessarily doubt that I mean, I really, because there's the whole thing about AI, and everyone's like, oh, AI is the devil. But like most people do use AI, maybe not at the level of something out, you know, like creating a video or creating an image or something like that. But like if I'm stumped for a video title, I'll go to Chat GPT and be like, this is what the video is going to be about. Give me some titles. And it'll give me some titles. And then I'll look at them, and then, you know, I'll kind of pick different things from it and make it my title. And like, you know, you can use it responsibly, but because all it is an amalgamation of stuff that's already available on the internet. But I mean, there is obviously the generative AI and all that sort of stuff, which is kind of the opposite end of the spectrum.
It's kind of like the innovation of the internet where just everything was out there. And I think like eventually they'll scale that back, hopefully, to where it's not so foolish. I don't know though. Like some commercials and shit I see now, man. There was one with Chris Pratt the other day. And I was like, dude, it doesn't even look like Chris Pratt anymore. Like that has to be AI.
Well, I
can't remember what the hell commercial was.
It's almost like, but you got to remember, like CGI is a lot like AI. You know, it's not the generative thing. I just watched the new, or the latest, I should say, Jurassic World movie today. And my Christ in heaven, I was just like, everything looks fake. Like I can't watch the Marvel cinematic stuff. I can't watch it because everything just looks so fake. And it's
we just watched it last night, and I was telling my wife that I was like, I feel like the dinosaurs in like the original trilogy, or at least the original one, looked more realistic than this bullshit.
Because they used animatronics. You know, it was CGI and animatronics, but animatronics takes money. Animatronics takes time, and they don't want to put the time and money into it. So, you know,
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: I took my daughter. Me and her got a long history with Jurassic Park. She started watching Jurassic Park when she was like 3 because she just loved dinosaurs. Like it wasn't scary. It was just Jurassic Park's awesome. So of course, when the new one came out, we're like, yeah, we're going in theaters, like, you know, release day, whatever. Yep. And we both came out of it and we were just like, did you like that? And like, no. And she's like, I didn't really either. And it was the CGI part, which it was like, it kind of lost like dinosaurs are already scary enough. We don't need a, you know, mutant genesis hybrid.
Yeah, what was that?
Monster like it was not a dinosaur. It was just, we cooked this up in a lab and fucked up. It was a Frankenstein movie. You know what I mean? Like
it looked like the Ramcor from Star Wars. Like
it was like
a dinosaur. It was like
it didn't. And like none of the dinosaurs in the movie, like I like when each movie introduces like a new dinosaur we haven't seen before.
Right.
But it's like the Velociraptors and the T-Rex are like the 2 top dinosaurs in every Jurassic Park movie. Where the fuck were they? We saw shadowy Velociraptors in one scene that were so CGI'd they may as well not have been there. So it was definitely like, all right, what are we doing here?
At the same time, though, it's got to be good practical effects, because if you look at the new Star Wars and you look at the examples of Yoda, he looks like when there's a part where he like smirks and you can see like the hand and the puppet move. I don't know. It's like it's so bad. You know what I mean? There's gotta be
but there's a charm to that though, I think.
And you got to find a good balance, but it's just like, practical effects have just gone to the point of where that's like a niche thing. And it's like everything is computers, everything is CGI. And it's like, well, AI is going to accelerate that sort of stuff, if anything. So, you got AI actors, AI music. I think I saw there was like 3 or maybe even more than 3 charting music acts on Billboard that were AI. And it's because, at the end of the day, the normal person doesn't care. The normal person doesn't care how it's made, how it's done. They just want to consume.
Yeah, the AI actor thing, I know that's a big thing with like the SAG Actors Guild and stuff like that, because obviously it's, where does that become a thing? Like, it's artificial intelligence. If movie studios can do that, then why hire actors? You know what
exactly.
I mean? Well, I can just make my own actor or whatever. So I know that's a big thing. And I just have to shout out one of our guys here real quick, our boy Justin Deming. AI thumbs down, gay eye thumbs down.
I'm surprised somebody hasn't made that. Like,
I love you.
That
put it on a
like
t-shirt, Justin.
like a home run. Like, to do something with that.
But yeah, let's go ahead and shout out everybody else that's in here. We got Supple Ranger was commenting before we even started the show. The likelihood of Ultra Pro Wrestling video game ever releasing somewhere in the neighborhood of 0%.
I'm not familiar.
I don't know anything about this. Is this
there's a Patreon for it. There's all kind.
Well, he said he dropped my Patreon support for them after a year of no meaningful updates. So
I kind of give them a little bit of a pass. I did say that he said that he didn't like that the dude was kind of like freaking out on shit, on like people like questioning stuff, and I don't like that either. I think that's a bad look. But you got to remember, like, look at how long it took for the Retromania DLC to come out.
Yeah.
Like, when you're talking about independent projects, you don't have the same timetable. Now, I'm still hopeful for it because they have put in quite a bit of work into it. I think, what's the other one? There's like 2 or 3 independent wrestling games that have just gone completely quiet. And I can't remember the freaking names of them. I want to say a name, but I know that's not the right name. But I remember there was one that had like Chris Danger. They had Chris Danger and like Kurt Angle in the first trailer, because I made a video about that probably 2 years ago and stuff like that. So I'm actually on their Patreon. And you're right, there hasn't been any meaningful updates. I think if you don't see anything by mid next year, then have that conversation. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just being optimistic about it because I would really like that to come out.
I think you're also realistic, brother, because it takes forever to make a game these days, man. I mean,
it's not a game that's made in 6 months is probably going to be dog shit. Like, there's been plenty. I saw one the other day. It was like a battle royale that got made in like 5 months. That shipped and lost all of its player base in like 2 weeks, and they canned it.
That's like Hades 2. They had the the framework already from Hades 1, and it still took them almost 4 years, 5 years, and like a year that was in beta. And it's a fantastic game, but I knew I was going to wait a few years for that. And that
play testing and everything. It's
it's important.
Big time consumer.
Sometimes when the game gets delayed, I cheer. You know what I mean? Like. All right.
Hey, it means they're working on it.
Yeah, it's going to be better.
Also want to shout out Todd B. What's up, fucker?
I know
Vegeta,
him.
what's going on?
I hope that's actually
Mr. Trumma King Jr. It was a pleasure, sir.
Junior, just for the people in the comments who's wondering, Junior is the lead guitarist for Jeff Hardy's band Paroxygen, which we just hosted a very successful event with Jeff Hardy just this past Saturday, and it was fantastic. But we were talking to Junior, and he's talking about how he'd be a terrible guest. I think he would be fantastic, and I feel like everyone, should tell him on the internet that he should come on the show. Especially, he privately messaged me just a few minutes ago and said, "Dude, I love RGT 85."
Thank you.
You need to come on the show, Junior. That RGT's been on here. There you go.
And let's see, Death Bulk, RGT up. Hell yeah. JS, I know you sent this forever ago. We are talking anything and everything
Whatever.
that comes up for sure. Dan, what up, dude?
What's up, Dan?
You know what? I got a bone to pick with this because I had watched World War Z for the first time like a month ago.
We talking the Brad Pitt?
The Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I actually loved it.
Did you read the book?
No.
Okay, so I read the book first, and the way the book was written, it was almost written like a journal, and it was, I don't know, it was really good. I really enjoyed the book. So when I found out they're doing a movie, I was like super stoked, and it was a good like zombie movie. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't know, man, it just I don't know.
The game was fun.
Yeah.
I think you kind of had to do like when it was a horde of them, you know, like massing up the wall and when they were in Israel and shit.
Yeah.
Like that has to be CGI, but I thought the concept of it was really cool. I couldn't believe Brad Pitt kept surviving. That was kind of nuts.
It's the movie.
Surviving plane crashes and shit. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
And yep, book was 5 million times better. Vegeta, hey, it's my favorite Nintendo YouTuber. Hell yeah.
A Nintendo YouTuber.
Xbox video tomorrow. It's already done. It's already scheduled.
I was just about to ask, is Nintendo just your favorite or are you kind of an all-around gamer?
No, I'm an all-around gamer, but I'm also, I mean, I'm always very honest about this. You know, I do YouTube full time. So I understand that a lot of people started watching me because of Nintendo Switch coverage, including people on this show. Because at that time there wasn't a lot of, because you know, I had been working for a website, a Nintendo focused website for a couple of years before that, and I had done some YouTube videos over there on their YouTube channel and stuff. And so I was kind of clued into them. And then once, you know, people started watching a lot of Switch content, it was like, well, I mean, I could sit here and focus on, you know, just talking about whatever, or I can, because at that time I had a full-time job. You know, it was literally me going to work, stealing the work computer. I was a certified pharmacy technician for like 10 years. I would steal the work computer, see what was happening, be like, okay, that's what I'm going to talk about when I get home. I would come up with the video in my head on the way home from work. I would get home, I would film it, I would edit it, I would upload it, I would eat dinner, I would go to sleep. And I did that for months and months. And, you know, I started making more money on YouTube than I was at my day job. And I was like, well, I'm only doing like 50% of what I can do so let me just bust my ass. And see how it goes. But, you know, I talk a lot about Nintendo stuff because I know there's interest from people in it. But you know, if something happens, like I'm very interested in all of the, you know, the latest Xbox stuff. It's just when you look at PlayStation right now, I play my PlayStation for exclusive games. I wasn't very interested in Ghost of Yotei. I don't really care about Helldivers 2. Death Stranding 2, I didn't personally like the first game, which is a me thing.
Oh, that's a...
I feel like Kojima needs... You know what it is? Kojima is Vince Russo. Kojima needs Konami, which is Vince McMahon, to do their best work. And it just completely, like, I was a diehard Metal Gear Solid fan. Like, Metal Gear Solid was like my drug, like in my like late from like 18 to like 22. Right. And then like, you know, I remember the first time I ever got a credit card was so I could go buy a PlayStation 3. I remember I got a Best Buy credit card with like a $2,000 limit, and I was like, "Fuck, that was easy." So I got a PlayStation 3, I got an HD TV, and I got it was the bundle that came with Metal Gear Solid 4. And like with Metal Gear Solid 5, I was like, "Where's David Hayter? I don't want Kiefer Sutherland." And then Death Stranding, I thought it was going to be like and maybe it was a me problem, but with Death Stranding 1, it was like, I expected there to be that Metal Gear Solid 2 moment where it's like, okay, you're not really doing this the entire time. There's going to be a big shift all of a sudden. And like 20 hours in, the shift never came. And I was like, oh, I don't think this is for me. Yeah. And so, yeah. So like, I say all that to say, I haven't turned my PlayStation 5 on since Astrobot. The next time I will turn it on is when the Gran Turismo 7 DLC drops. I think that's in December, and then I'll have to sit there for a bunch of updates. And like, I like Xbox, and I reviewed Metal Gear Solid Delta on Xbox recently, and stuff like that. But it's just, people are interested in what I have to say about Nintendo. So, you gotta go where it is. And I do genuinely enjoy Nintendo. I mean, the first system I ever had was an NES. So, I fucking one Christmas, it was a PlayStation, a Saturn, or a Virtual Boy, and I chose the Virtual Boy. So, like, I wasn't exactly a normal kid.
Have you ever, or I guess I shouldn't say ever, new game that just dropped this past week, Outer Worlds 2. Have you played that yet?
I have not. I played and beat the Outer Worlds 1, and I really liked it. So I will check out the Outer Worlds 2. I just
downloaded it, so I'm excited for it. Yeah,
I'm still playing through Ninja Gaiden 4 as well. I'll probably try to get a good chunk of that out of the way tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff coming out. There's a bunch of stuff happening. So, I'm looking forward to playing the Outer Worlds too, though. I heard the main story is a little bit iffy, but I don't know. The problem is, like, people would be like, "Oh yeah, you remember this in the Outer Worlds 1?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." Like,
I don't.
Like, I play a lot of stuff, so I forget a lot of stuff. I can Avowed. Was Avowed this year?
I tried Avowed, man. I could not, and that was that's right up my alley. I could not get into it
because the story was terrible. I can't tell you what happened
horrible.
in that story, but I beat the game because I loved the game. I thought the gameplay was awesome. I was like,
the gameplay
this is
was
fun.
Good, I couldn't care less.
You could ask me right now to name like 3 things that happened in the game. I couldn't do it. I could not. Yeah. The only thing I remember is like the very end, which was leading up to the boss fight at the end, and I somehow cheesed it because like the final boss glitched and I just stabbed her to death, and I was like, okay, I win. But like, that
was easy.
Yeah.
Man,
I don't know. I tried to do that. I tried to do Baldur's Gate 3, which I don't think I realized the type of gameplay that Baldur's Gate 3 was, which is not my type of game at all.
Me neither.
And that was a big waste of $70 for sure. But you live and you learn. Maybe I'll get into it one day. Who knows?
I gotta say, I gotta bring this comment up. I'm fairly certain I can say that RGT is just like me and is so fucking excited for the Virtual Boy attachment for the Nintendo Classic. I can't tell you how fucking excited I am. A modern version of this that I don't have to shell out $700 for, and it's going to have all the games I want to play on it anyways. Yes, please.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I have 2 Virtual Boys, and I'm excited for this.
I bought this. I will buy that. You know,
I got the GameCube. I do like the GameCube controller. I think it's good. But yeah, I'm and it's a very, I know most people were very pissed off about that, but they can go to hell. Like, this is for me and a select few people who, I mean, because dude, the thing had 13 games and over half of them were bangers. Like, and those are the games that mostly Nintendo made, and then like the other games like Vertical Force and Jack Bros are also going to be on the system. So it's like, I'm super stoked for it, like straight up.
John Cena for Ganondorf in the Zelda movie.
Oh, it'll be Jack Black, I'm sure.
Oh, God.
It probably will be.
Shay Carl.
Let's see, still haven't played Mario Kart World on my Nintendo Switch 2, stuck on Breath of the Wild. Well, that's a good one to be stuck on.
I
Yeah.
can't stop playing Hades 2, man. Hades 2 has been my go-to. I love playing a roguelike, and I think it's just exceedingly well done. It's the perfect epitome of a 2. It's the Terminator 2 in video games. You know what I mean? It's just everything in the first one, but a little bit better. I think it's fantastic. Do you play any roguelikes at all, RGT, or are you
Not really. I get frustrated with them. I've played some Dead Cells. I played for a good bit. It was fun. I tried the new Prince of Persia roguelike. I don't know. It didn't really click with me.
I call them my mindless games in a way, because I can just play them while the wife and I watch a show. We watch some Dexter or something, and I can, just kind of kill things while I watch the show. You know what I mean? I think that's why I like them. That's why I play Fortnite too, to be honest with you. Do you have any go-to mindless games? Do you play Peggle or something like that? Or what's your
and
Dude, Peggle slaps.
Not to try and segue anything, but N64 wrestling games.
Exactly.
I literally put on either Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 Freem Edition, which is a hack of Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, or WCW NWO Revenge, or sometimes I'll play Virtual Pro Wrestling Salvo, which adds in WWF guys from that era into the game. And I'll just if I'm because I like to do 10,000 steps a day, and so I'll just do a 40-man battle royal, and I'll just sit there and play it until I win, and then I got a good chunk of my steps out of the way. I do that literally every day.
Hey, fuck yeah! Oh shit! Look at this. I got to bring this comment.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh, everybody.
The amount of times I've gotten that. I got called Kevin Steen once, and I'm hanging on to that for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody was just being nice. It's separate.
Yeah. Well,
Let's talk Nintendo 64, because no mercy. By God, I was so in love with that game until I found out that I was one of the people who suffered from the cartridge deletion glitch.
Yep.
I spent 300 hours making everybody known to man in that game that I could fit. I filled up all the slots with created characters. And then I came on and turned it on one day, and it was all gone. And I remember it was one of the first times. Oh, dude, it was one of the first times in my life I felt like somebody robbed me. I was so defeated. Defeated.
It was such a widespread thing too. There was a few the 1.1 version ended up at Blockbusters, and then you could mail your cartridge into THQ and they would send you a 1.1. And that was the only way to really get it fixed. So there's no rhyme or reason as to why it happens. It just happens.
Ouch.
What a glitch.
I remember trying to turn it off and on 100 times. Maybe it'll just come back. It'll come back. It did not come back.
The nut shot is OP. And you know what, Justin? Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And also, Tiana, I'm not giving you shit. I get the Seth Rogen shit all the time. But honestly, I shouldn't be too upset about it because he's a successful fella. So if I'm compared to him,
right?
Why not?
So you
He
wrote
got to do it with Katherine Heigl. So
you wrote a book on the art of N64 wrestling games. So I would assume that's, I have not read the book myself yet, but let's. In fact, I need to make sure I get the link up here so people can buy it. But what possessed you to do that? Were you just you just loved it and you wanted to put it together in a book, or what was the motive behind that?
Yeah, more or less. I played a lot of them growing up, and some of my favorite memories of that time frame were playing those games. And I had written a book. Oh, I got one right here. I wrote a book on the Sega 32X because I like weird stuff. And this was literally me messaging a guy I used to work with on that old Nintendo site. And I was like, I'm going to write a book. And he was like, okay. And I showed him a sample of it. And he's like, this looks horrible. I was like, yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing. And he was like, well, I actually know kind of how to format stuff. And I was like, how and why? He was like, I don't know, but I kind of do know. And I was like, word, I'll give you some money and then we'll do this. And then so I wrote that a couple of years ago. And then I kind of, I don't know. I found myself playing a lot of N64 wrestling games. There's a lot of cool new projects. I mean, there's been a ton of new projects since I wrote that book. It's only a year old, but there's already still so many amazing projects in the works and new ways to figure out stuff. I was playing back in 2006 is when I first started emulating and doing like texture hacks of No Mercy stuff. And I was kind of learning like the move hacks and stuff like that. I was on the forums and stuff. And it was just so cool to me how you could essentially take this wrestling engine and then put modern people with modern moves into the game and like just do things that you didn't think were possible. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I kind of just, I was like, well, I have all these games. I've played all these games. I could write a book. And I got up with the guy again. And he was like, well, I kind of cheated and used this girl to help me out with a lot of the stuff. And I'm kind of busy, but she's like way better. And I was like, okay. Cause like if you thumb through this, like it's fine. It gets the job done. It's simple. But like this girl knew what she was actually doing. So we talked and I came up with, I was just like, I'll write the whole thing. Just, here's some basic ideas of what I would like to see. And she was definitely the creative juice behind it. And then I was kind of like, well, I am friends with, a few wrestlers and stuff like that. Maybe I can reach out.
God, it's Stevie Richards.
So he, of course, was first. And I was like, can we, would you mind doing something? He's like, no problem. And then Mark Sterling, he gave me a great thing Smart Mark about WCW NWO Revenge, Blue Meanie. I reached out to the Blue Meanie, and I wanted like one more person. And I had talked with a couple of people, and everything it always just we lose touch. Like like Crowbar was going to be in it, and then he just disappeared. But then he started working all these indies again. I'm like, well, he's busy. I'm not going to bother him. And X-Pac was doing something because like everyone just did it, just to do it. And X-Pac was doing something on Twitter where he was like, if you donate $100 to this animal shelter in my area, I'll send you a free autograph figure. And I'm like, And so I'm like, all right, shoot or shoot. I was like, keep the autograph figure. I'll do $100, but I want to ask you a couple questions for a book I'm doing. And he was like, okay. So I ended up getting X-Pac in the book that way. So
yeah, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, $100 to have him, and
towards a good cause too.
Yeah, towards a good cause, and like the story ended up that he told about how much he got paid for World Tour ended up getting covered in Fightful. Like it was all over the place. Like all these aggregate news sites were doing Fightful's thing, but Fightful was talking about the story, and like they had all stuff about, they did a write-up on the Stevie Richards interview and how he kind of came into the Big Show role and stuff like that. So it was really cool, to add a little bit layer of legitimacy. And then after I did all of the main games, I was like, well, I want to talk about the hacking and modding scene because like it's so amazing. Like there's so many awesome projects. It spans for over 20 years now of people doing stuff.
Wow.
So I reached out to a couple different modders and got them to kind of talk about like the process and the new tools that are out there and stuff like that. So it ended up becoming like really cool. It's definitely something I thoroughly enjoy. And my philosophy with any book that I do is I'm not doing it for money. My goal is to break even. And then once I break even, everything else is just good. This book definitely cost me more than the 32X book did because it was bigger. There was more stuff in it. The graphic designer was like an actual graphic designer and stuff like that. So it was more, cost out of my pocket. But I have a buddy who runs a website that sells video games, video game accessories, a lot of like new products for old consoles and stuff like that, Castlemania games. And with the 32X book and this book, we did pre-orders on his website. And then I made my money back just on those pre-orders. So then everything that sold after that was just, profit. And, it's kind of funny because I hope he doesn't get mad that I say this, because I don't. He's coming around to me. I know he hasn't liked me for a while, but he's coming around to me. We've actually talked quite a lot this year at Too Many Games in Philadelphia. Pat the NES Punk, because he does all those books, and so I'm drunk as fuck. Like, it's the after party. I am literally like 8 Sprite and vodkas deep, to the point of where the next day the inside of my cheek was burning and I couldn't figure out, like, I was like, did I bite it in my sleep or something? And we were doing a signing with this Spawncast, and we went from the panel to the signing. It was like one right after another, but we had like 30 minutes in between. So I was like, I'm going to grab some chicken tenders and like a Sprite real quick so I can, have some food, 'cause I'm hungry. And so I ate the chicken tenders. We got to the table. I took a swig of the Sprite, and immediately my cheeks started burning again. I was like, I think I drank too many Sprite vodkas, and it fucking burned a hole inside of my cheek because it hurt like shit. And I could not drink any other Sprite that entire thing. But Pat was like talking to me, and he's like, because that's his primary focus now. And he's like, oh, well, what are your profit margins and stuff? I'm like, dude, I just do it because I'm bored, and it's kind of fun to be creative, and as long as I make my money back, like I'm happy as a pig in shit. It's just it's a way for me to be a little bit more creative than maybe I am with my videos, because I hate editing videos. Like, I detest it. It is the bane of my existence. Hell yeah, enjoy it. It's a fun book. Everyone that's picked it up has been very cool with it, and I actually got it signed by my favorite wrestler ever.
Yeah, I see your little Hogan toy there. That's pretty cool. That's
Steve is his favorite wrestler too.
Yeah, I don't listen. His personal self and the character are two different things for me, but it wasn't necessarily my. I'm more of a Jericho guy than I was Hulk Hogan guy. So
see, it was like he was the first wrestler I ever saw. I literally have. It's not technically a room, but it's kind of a room. Like, when I bought this place and I was looking at it, or like before I bought the place and I was looking at it, the layout is a little bit strange. And there was this massive closet. It's like a double door closet. The room is like 6 feet wide by like 9 feet long, but there's no windows and there's only one outlet. And there's a bunch of built-in shelves to it. The people that lived here before me, when I walked into that closet to see what the fuck was in there, they had like a prayer shrine in there with like all these statues and candles and lights and stuff. And I was like, I have no idea what I'll ever do with this. But I ended up buying the place.
Is it Joe Boo?
I don't know what the fuck it was. And then as time went on, because I kind of moved away from collecting video games, and I sold a big chunk of my collection off just because I wanted space down here. I started buying a lot of toys, and like I started running out of room here, and then I was like, well, maybe I could do something with that room up there. So I put a bunch of stuff in there, like wrestling stuff, and I noticed there was a lot of Hogan stuff in there. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just make it like a Hogan room. And so like that is literally I have spent a ridiculous amount of money on stuff for that room, signed stuff. I had him sign the book. I mailed it into him, and the guy who ran the beach shop that he had took care of it for me and got him to sign it. I've got a signed LJN. I got signed LJN thumb wrestlers, tons of signed figures and stuff like that. Like, it's bad. Like it's bad, the amount of stuff that is in that room, because now that room is pretty much full, and every time I get something else, it's like a fucking Tetris puzzle. Like,
Yeah.
I have to figure, because like stuff will just start falling because everything is precisely where it needs to be. And then it's like, okay, I got to make a little room here. And it drives me nuts. But yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
So do you know what my world record is at all? Do you know anything about my shit with my t-shirts?
You wear a wrestling shirt every day.
Yeah, so I've got almost I to the point to where my closet had to become our garage, and I have almost 1,000 shirts at this point. I went 425 days without a repeat, and then I started repeating shirts after that because it was becoming ridiculous. But I've almost hit 1,000. I think I'm like 60 shirts away. So
That's awesome.
I'm getting pretty close, man.
Are they all okay? Not to try and diminish anything. Are they all like legit, or are some like
Oh,
reprints?
Every single one is legit. The only thing that is like, and that's what I set up with Guinness first, was like parameters. So it has to feature a wrestler. So like, for example, I have a Zubaz shirt, but it's got the Legion of Doom on it.
Okay.
So that counts. You know what I mean? I also like, I have
shirt you wore yesterday or the day before.
What shirt was that one? The Woo Day. Yeah, the Woo Day. As long as it features the likeness of a wrestler and some kind of whatever, that's all it has to matter, and that it's a t-shirt, not like a wife beater or sleeveless or whatever. So yeah, I've been collecting. I've got a few that are indie shirts, you know what I mean? So you can't really buy them online or anything, but they still count as long as it references a pro wrestler of some sort. So, and it's 1,400 days going now. So it's at this point, I keep telling my kids, I guess I'm just not going to stop till I die. So
yeah,
this is forever now.
Yeah, might as well. That's fucking awesome though, dude. I'm sure you have some fucking wild shirts.
And some wild videos I've done, because I do a video every day to upload it and prove it to Guinness with, the metadata of what time I recorded and blah, blah, blah. And I've done them with Sting. I've done them with Ric Flair, Kurt Angle. My other two main goals are Undertaker and Austin, but those are diamonds in the rough, if you will.
Taker's tough.
Yeah.
Taker, he doesn't do any cons or anything, so
I'm actually tattooed on me, so hopefully one day. Have you seen my other tattoo?
Nah.
You might have seen this one on the internet, man, but I have.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I have seen that then.
I have the Intercontinental title across my belly.
So who's your favorite Intercontinental champion then?
Oh man, this is kind of tough. A lot of people think I give a weird answer, but if I'm being honest with you, I love a shitty coward heel. So I gotta say that it's probably gotta be Jeff Jarrett. I loved when he was beating up on China. I know people think it's crazy, but I love The Miz. I love Chris Jericho. But if we're talking about the most fun I had with an Intercontinental champion, man, I hit during that time him and Jericho beating up on China, that whole era. When I was a kid, those are my guys, man.
Right.
I loved those guys. They were cool dudes for some reason. I don't know. I liked him hitting with people with guitars. I don't know. Maybe it was because I was
me off.
Yeah. And slap nuts. I don't know why I thought slap nuts was the coolest thing.
Choke on that, slap nuts.
Yeah.
That's classic though.
I gotta say, as a fan of yours, I know you cut your old intro out. At some point, man, you gotta just give us a snippet of the RGT 85. I can't. I sometimes I click back and just listen to your old intro on old episodes.
Yeah, I need to. Maybe I'll do it for like Christmas this year as like a Christmas gift.
A retro episode.
Yeah, do something like that because I do have to plan something for around that time, anyways. Yeah, I mean, YouTube's just a weird thing though, where it's like, intros for stuff. If it's not for like something like this is obviously different, but if it's a just a video that's like 10
informative or
10 to 15
that.
minutes long, people just want to get into it, and you'll see like your regulars will still watch whatever, but like new people, they'll start to click off and stuff like that. For me, it's like, Game Sack, Angry Video Game Nerd, they can have their intros because, they've been around forever and, their intros are very recognizable. But for me, I don't know. I just kind of stopped doing it, and I don't know. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I liked it. You do step right into it too. I will give you that.
Yeah. So, you gotta You got to look at it from a business standpoint. That's actually funny that Justin in the chat said that the Mountie is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. I'm actually meeting him and Jake Roberts in less than 2 weeks. Very excited for that.
Oh yeah. Justin actually had this question too. This was way back when we were talking about 64. Wrote the book on 64 wrestling, analog 3D or mod retro M64.
I wish I could say mod retro 64 with full confidence, but the problem is we don't know when that's coming out. And from what I've heard through the grapevine, around the end of this month, you're probably going to start seeing videos about the analog 3D in action. Because I've heard that review units are starting to go out in the middle of this month. Now, we've been down this road before with analog, where back in the summer, they actually printed shipping labels to give to reviewers. I'm not one of the reviewers, by the way, because analog probably detests me because I talk so much shit about them. But I have friends that are getting review units, and they always tell me this sort of stuff. They did print shipping labels over the summer, and then nothing happened with the shipping labels, and then they delayed it again. So it's not 100%, but if they are hitting Q4 of this year, they kind of have to. So, yeah, but I mean, you know, if the mod retro, the thing of it is that the mod retro, you'll be able to buy that. The analog, you know, those pre-orders are gone. So you're going to have to pay, you know, double the amount of what they went for initially. And I'm not too sure that there's going to be a major difference between the two. I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed with the analog because they never showed it off. And I think people are getting in their mind that it's going to be like when you fire up an emulator and like, you know, there's internal upscaling of the textures and stuff like that because they said, oh, well, it outputs in 4K. I mean, yeah, I could output a fucking a VHS tape in 4K. It doesn't mean that the VHS tape is 4K. It's just outputting to 4K. Like there's a major difference.
Yeah.
And the fact that they haven't shown anything from this still till this point, I think it's because they know that they're probably going to piss people off. But, you know, we'll see.
And then old Stan here asked Jake Roberts about pooping in people's shoes on an airplane.
After he sides the Hasbro, I gotta him and the Mountie.
Don't piss him off right away.
Yeah, I got mint on card Hasbros of him and the Mountie to have them sign.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, do you have because I know you've got a large collection. I've seen several of your walkthrough videos, even before and after you've sold your stuff. But what is your holy shit, my house is on fire, I have the time to save one item? Is there a go-to collectible for that for you?
Yeah, 100%. That would be the signed book by Hogan because that's a one of one. You know, I can there's always a chance I could find, and I mean, I have some stupid expensive pieces like Mail Away Undertaker Hasbro. I paid way too much for that because I needed to finish my set. I recently just bought a signed LJN, the thumb wrestlers that you stick your thumb up their ass. A 2-pack of Hogan and Piper mint on card that was signed by Hogan. I just picked that up recently. So there are some. I have a original signed Hogan LJN. Was literally the most I ever spent on one individual item. But
you have these little guys?
Yeah, I do. I got I recently, you know what? I got those off of Etsy of all places. I found someone and I thought I was just buying one of the Hogans. I have like 30 of them. They just came in this little plastic bag. And I'm like, all right, I'll take one out. And then because I'm an idiot and I sometimes buy stuff that I already have and it's a very bad problem. So I literally have a tote of like
duplicate shit.
Yeah, mostly Hogan figures. And I mean it's mostly newer stuff, but like I thought I needed this one TNA figure and I found it for really cheap. And then I ended up having it and I was like, oh, okay. And then one went up that was signed that was really cheap. And so now I have 2 unsigned ones and 1 signed one. So it's like, okay, well, into the tote you go. And then they always do like re-releases where it's like, oh, now it has the proper tan and stuff. And, you know, it's like, I don't need this, but I need this.
But I'm
Like,
gonna get it.
yeah, like what the hell am I supposed to do?
Because it's just gonna sit in the back of my mind and fester if I don't get it.
Exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, like I have a complete Hasbro loose collection.
Wow.
That was a weird thing for me because really, like, I don't know, like I find myself gravitating towards toys more because like video games for me growing up, like I had them, you know, like it wasn't, and plus you had rental stores and like I didn't really own a lot of video games, but with rental stores, you know, your parents, it was Friday night, they wanted to watch some stupid ass movie. They know they got to drag you along, so they're going to give you, you know, like, okay, you can rent a game. So, you know, with games and stuff like that, and plus just how easy it is to emulate a lot of the older stuff. That's really why I got rid of my collection, because I was like, this is worth money, and I'm not doing much with it. I mean, I still have a decent collection now, but like every single one, at least of the retro games, every single one has like a story. Like I remember playing this as a kid, you know, this, that, or the other. Whereas, like, I don't need Airwolf on the NES. Like, I don't give a fuck about Airwolf on the NES. I don't give a fuck about 90% of the stuff. So that's why I got rid of it. Yeah. But with toys, I never really had many toys growing up. I remember I had the Hasbro Series 1 Ultimate Warrior, and I must have dipped him in maple syrup at some point in time because I remember being a kid and just chewing on his head and it tasted like maple syrup. And then I had the Hulk Hogan wrestling buddy as a kid, and like there's pictures of like me with it when I was like 5 years old and stuff like that. I actually still have that from my childhood.
Oh, it's fantastic.
But just with like toys, you know, it's different because like you can't emulate this. You know, you can't emulate picking this up, looking at the packaging and stuff like that.
Right.
So it just seems very different. So, you know, I was always drawn to the Hasbros. I remember my mom, probably 7-8 years ago, was at it's probably longer than that. I'm trying to think of where I lived. We'll say 9 years ago. She was at a flea market and found 2 mint on card Hasbros, a Hogan Series 5 and a Bret Hart Series 2. And they were $5 a piece. So she was like, oh, I remember you had these as a kid. And she mailed them to me. And I was like, man, I really wish I could have had like a complete set of these. And I ended up getting a bunch of them off of eBay over time. And, you know, I was probably a little bit over halfway to completion. And I was like, you know, I'm good. I got pretty much all the ones I want. You know, I got a ring too and stuff like that. I was like, I'm good on that. And then I started fucking with the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. And I watched their video going over the Hasbros, like their complete history. Like it's like a 4-hour fucking long video. And by the time I got to the end of that video, I was like, that's it. We're getting them all, boys. We're getting them all. And so I ended up completing my collection except for mail-aways. And I was like, that's it. We're done. I don't need the mail-aways. I'm not getting the mail-aways because the mail-aways are too fucking expensive. And then I was like, well, I mean, it is Hogan in WrestleMania 9 gear, so it is different than the other ones. I'll just get that one because that one at least visually looks different. The Bret Hart is just a different color heart. And they actually released so the Bret Hart mail away is weird because the only way to truly know if you have a Bret mail away is if it's in the plastic baggie. The Undertaker, there are some very subtle visual differences that 95% of people would never notice. But if you're the 5% Hasbro person, you would. And the Hogan one looks completely different. So I was fine with the Hogan one. And for Bret, I think it's the Purple Heart that is the mail away, but you could find Purple Hearts loose. And so I just pretend that that's the mail away because technically there's no way to tell. You know, somebody opened it from the baggie. It's a mail away. Go fuck yourself. But the Taker always eluded me. And I knew I'm friends with the seller and he had one. And I was just like, fuck it. I was like, just fuck it. Just give it to me. I'm buying it. And yeah, so that was an expensive boy, but at least now it's done. But then like you keep going. You're like, well, what about the orange cards that never came out? You know, you were supposed to have Diesel, Men on a Mission, American Lex Luger, and then they started releasing the WWE retros. And some of those were filling in those gaps of things that never came out. So I was like, well, I need those. And now they're making new retros. And it's like, well, I need these. Like they're in the same style and stuff. And then independent retro companies came out. And it's like, well, I need the Dean Douglas that I just bought. It just came in the other day, and the Macho Man variations. It's disgusting. Just like how deep into this I've gotten. But I don't know. It's fun. It's fun. And I don't have any kids that I'm aware of. I don't have a wife, so but gotta spend the money on something. Show it in
Nobody
a video.
to tell you no.
Show it in a video. Write it off on my taxes. Fuck it.
Better
Hell
than
yeah.
a addiction, brother. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what I tell my mom. It's like, you want me to get on drugs? I can get on drugs if you want me to.
The show for my money.
No, honey, just buy toys.
Yeah.
I can't blame you, man. When AEW first came out, I did a Google right before AEW's toys came out about what the very first WCW toy line would run you mint on card. And I was like, oh, that's thousands of dollars. And then AEW came out and we're going to have our own toys. I was like, fuck, I need everything.
Yep.
I bought everything. I've sold the first round of toys, but I still kept the first edition ring and all the accessories and shit. And just in case, 30 years from now, someone's like, dude, I'd give $3,000 for that ring. I have it right here, pal.
I mean, I kind of look at, especially because I was collecting Hogan autograph stuff before he passed. And then when he passed, like just seeing the price of things skyrocket. And obviously, that's like, okay, so I have a signed Hollywood NWO belt. I paid $500 for it when it came out. Now they sell for like $1,600. And I understand that, it's going to go down. It's going to settle down. But the way I think of it is he's never signing another thing again.
Right.
Like, ever.
It's all limited edition now.
It's all limited edition. So wait a couple of years and then that market is going to be crazy. Like, if you look at like an 8x10s of like Kerry Von Erich go for like $1,000. Like,
Wow.
that's an 8x10. And, it's crazy. So, I never plan on getting rid of it. So, it's a moot point to begin with, but I look at them as investment. I had some chick come over and she brought her kid and I'm like, what are we doing here? And she was like, oh, he wanted to come in and see your house. And I'm like, fine. So I like showed him like down here and he was like, this is messier than my room. I was like, okay, pal. And she was like, are you going to show him the Hulk Hogan room? And I was like, yeah, I guess. And he was like, why do you have all this stuff? I was like, it's investment pieces. That's why I have it.
My retirement fund, you asshole.
Exactly. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't come into your room and tell you it's messy. It's one.
Yeah. With your fucking
fucking
Fortnite and whatever the fuck else is in your room, probably. Or
6,
bullshit.
7 ass.
Yeah, 60. He's got a little broccoli hair.
You.
He did in my own house. He's lucky his mom is a big booty Latina because that's my weakness, pal.
Oh, that's a good weakness to have, man. I don't know if you're any close to Indianapolis, man, but you should come out to Squared Circle Expo in March. We got a table there. That is a fucking magical place to find wrestling stuff.
I am in the Northeast.
So you're more like, you're talking like Maine-ish area, Rhode Island?
No.
By the Knicks hat.
Yeah, tri-state area.
Okay.
What's it called? Squared Circle Expo.
Squared Circle Expo.
Mhm.
It's like the Cadillac of wrestling expos. We've had a table there the last 2 years, and we've had some really, really, really cool moments there, man.
But the people he gets there is unreal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had some. We got to watch Ultimo Dragon versus Nick Nemeth. And
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It was so fucking sweet. It was just like we were sitting there for a minute, like that's Ultimo fucking Dragon right now, like, and he's wrestling in front of us. Like it was just a moment of cool. But yeah, we'll have a table there, man, and fucking. If you're interested, you can maybe come throw a few books on the table, sell a few books or something. Write that off too.
Yeah, I'll see. When is it? March, I think.
Yeah, March 26th, 27th.
Okay.
Just it's like it was like, for me, it's like summer camp, man. It's like you just walk around and like all these wrestlers that I grew up like watching on TV. It's like, holy shit, there's Slaughter. Holy shit, there's Jake the Snake. DiBiase and IRS, rest his soul. Got to meet them last year.
Yeah,
He didn't die yet.
Huh?
He didn't die yet.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
He was in hospice care.
just in hospice. Okay.
Well,
But
no,
that's also been debated, I guess.
yeah, I think his
daughter
daughter said something, right?
So I don't know if you looked at who he's got so far. Dennis Rodman's going to be there.
Dennis Rodman's
So I just looked, and I have the I had a buddy of mine is going to a thing to meet Rodman, and I'm trying to convince him because I have the Hogan Rodman 2-pack figure from WCW. And
that's a rarity.
Yeah, dude, I have so many. I have a bank, a coin bank, Hogan. I have a Hulk Hogan flashlight new in package. I have a Hulk Hogan camera new in package. And when you develop the pictures, he's there in the bottom corner. I have a yo-yo new in package. I have a Frisbee new in package. All legit products, all WWF stamped products.
That's fantastic.
I'm trying to think of what other dude. Fucking the beer when he came out with the beer. It's not in my state. I literally made my mom, who lives in Florida, buy me a 12-pack when she came up here to see like me and my family and check the bag so that with the beer in it so that I can have it. And I'm like, hell yeah.
It's great American beer, brother.
Hell yeah. Real American beer, sir. Real American. It's not bad. Honestly, it is not. I am a connoisseur of piss beer. That's all I drank as a teenager. So that's all I like as an adult. And it's not bad. I would say it's a slight step above like a Miller Lite. You know, Miller Lite sometimes gives you that little nasty aftertaste. Bud Light, same sort of thing. No bad aftertaste. But yeah, I have bizarre random Hogan stuff, but
they bled that Hulkamania name dry.
Oh yeah, dude.
We're going to continue doing it too, but he signed up for all that. He knew he was signing his likeness in perpetuity. So I see a lot of people not liking that they're still showing him on the commercials. Like, what do you mean? He literally like that was his.
Dude, they're still opening. They're still opening the sports bar in New York City. That was the Hulk Hogan sports bar. Like, you know, as say what you will about the guy, and most of it's probably true, but like, he was a businessman. Like he wants that. He wanted that. He loved the limelight, you know, for forever. And you know, that's a thing that a lot of wrestlers struggle with is when the light fades. You know, what's left? You know, what do I do now? What do you mean nobody's paying attention to me? So they, you know, sometimes they get a little like, look at Marty Jannetty. Marty Jannetty is fucking insane, but like
we got to hang out with him at Squared Circle last year.
That must have been fun.
Bro, he walked past the table,
his belly, and got so excited.
He saw my belly and he was like, "Can I get a picture of that?" And I was like, "If you give us a picture with you," and he was like, "Deal." And I got us a free picture with him. I was like, all right.
Yeah, Party Marty, man. IC champ. Great IC champ.
Yeah.
Him and Michaels had that program. Should have went on longer, though.
Sure.
Marty Jannetty is probably, I think, one of the biggest what-ifs.
Yeah.
If you watch some of that Rockers stuff, Shawn was a better high flyer. Marty was a better worker. Marty was a much better worker than Shawn, but he was his own biggest, you know, he couldn't get out of his own fucking way. He never changed up his gimmick. When he showed up in WCW in 98, he still had that fucking Rockers gear. Look at remember when he came back in like 05 and had that match with Kurt Angle? And he was amazing. It's like, damn. Whenever he's live streaming, if I catch it, I always throw him some money. It's like $20. I'm like, thank you. I've always been a fan of you. Thank you, Marty.
The Rockers were my shit as a kid.
Hell yeah, dude. I used to tell people that I was named after Shawn Michaels because my name is Shawn. I had no problem making that, even though like timeline wise, it made absolutely no sense. It didn't matter to me.
Your mom was just hip to wrestling at that time.
And she was young, so she, you know.
There you go. She knew.
She knew. She was
So
down.
we've already hit our hour, but there are a few questions that we like to ask every time we have any guest on, and I think they're important, especially Mike's one this time because you're a toy collector. So I feel like it's an interesting question for you. Mike, hit him with the first question.
Yeah, us dads are very budget-minded individuals in this time of year. It gets a little out of hand, so we like to ask our guests, what do you keep your thermostat set to?
So during the winter or during the summer?
Both, I guess. Yeah, we have different settings for each.
Summer will be 69.
Nice.
And winter, I don't until I wake up in the morning, and then I'll put it on 60, and then I'll let the house get up to 60, and then that's it. And that's because of my grandparents. Still to this day, because they're both alive and kicking and probably healthier than me at the end of the day.
Doing something right.
When you go to their house during the winter, you better have a fucking jacket. When I go walk in the door, Grandpa has Grandpa will come open the door, let me in. He has a t-shirt, a flannel, a sweatshirt, and a jacket on.
Oh my God.
That's what you're doing.
See,
If you want, he did, because we actually lived there when I was like 9 or 10 for like 6 months, because we were moving from the Northeast to North Carolina. And so we lived there for a couple months before we moved down there. And I would remember in the morning, like running to the where the heat would come out in the living room, and me and my mom would just be curled up on the floor, just like getting the heat, because they would never run the heat during the night. It's like, no, you need to freeze to death. You put on blankets, you put on sweatshirts, and like I've become the same way. It's bizarre.
It's a meat locker.
Hell yeah. But you know what? I don't ever put my drinks in the refrigerator. I leave them right by my front door. I don't know why I do that, but they're, during the winter, they're always nice and cold.
Because you up there and it's cold. I mean, hell, we get some cold down here in the Midwest, but up there, that's a different kind of winter.
Yes.
Steve Macklin watched the episode tonight. That's pretty cool. I didn't even realize you could see who's watching on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool. Do you know who Steve Macklin is yet? Do you watch any TNA?
Oh, yeah. I watch TNA. I watch GCW. I watch I watch JCW on YouTube.
You're hip to a lot of our friends then, man. We do a lot of Revolver shows.
Okay, yeah. I sometimes Revolver's on Fight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always on Fight.
Yeah, I have the Triller now. I have the Triller monthly thing, so I'm always catching shows on there. Like I watch more independent stuff than I do WWE. AEW, I usually get the pay-per-views and try to catch some of the weekly stuff. I got a couple.
Pay-per-views are usually such bangers, man.
Yeah, and like one of the guys that works backstage, he's been on the show as like security, and if you ever see the Young Bucks backstage and there's a security guy there, it's this dude Charlie, who I'm really good friends with. So a funny story actually. When AEW first started, they were looking at merchandising stuff, and the shirts are done through Pro Wrestling Tees, and they were thinking about going with someone else that was either a little bit cheaper or had a potentially a better turnaround time. And my mom's husband ended up getting in contact with them, and so when AEW first started out, her and him would go to the shows, and she met Cody and Brandy. She had dinner with Dean Malenko and his wife, is referred to as Shelly. And she was like, the whole time we were eating, I kept wanting to call him Stinko Malenko because of what Jericho used to call him during Nitro. Because she would sometimes watch Nitro with us. And then they ended up going in a different direction. She met like Darby Allin. She said he was super nice. MJF's parents were super nice, and MJF was really nice. So yeah, it was funny. I wish they would have went in that direction, because that would have been really cool. But
could have benefited you greatly.
Yeah, and like I was trying to get in there and do some stuff. I'm like, hey, if this works out, we need to do something. And like I remember like when the game was coming out, like they wanted to work with me and stuff, but then like I don't know. I don't know what happened, and then
Bro,
just kind of went our
speaking of,
separate ways.
I bought Retromania because of you. Literally, I would have been watching you, and I was like, "Fuck, RGT's gonna be in this bitch."
Did you get the DLC?
How was that for you?
Dude, that was insane. That whole thing was insane. Like they actually wanted to do a little bit more with me, and I turned it down because I was like, no. Like I sincerely appreciate, because that game originally that game was going to be YouTuber wrestling, and it was going to be a bunch of retro video game channels that were put into the game. And like it was like myself, 8-Bit Eric, the Game Chasers, a bunch of other people. John Riggs was going to be in it too. And they ended up shifting because they ended up, realizing, hey, we could probably do better if we had real wrestlers, which I think is 100% the correct decision to make with that. But yeah, when the DLC was being talked about, they were like, you want to have some sound clips in the game and stuff. I was like, dude, no, like I sincerely appreciate it, but like I'm more in it just for like the wrestlers and stuff. But like when the DLC dropped and there's like fucking Demolition and Macho Man in it, and like I could put Macho Man in a fucking RGT ring and Demolition in an RGT ring, it's like that's fucking surreal.
And you didn't even have to like edit it yourself and make your own RGT ring in the ring creator suite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There, that gotta be, we had the creator of WrestleFest on, or WrestleQuest on the show. And we were telling him when WrestleQuest 2 comes out, because he had so many different podcasts and stuff that were a part of it. And like there'd be billboards that had the podcast. Like, tell me when and where I can give you money, sir. Because to get my content somewhere immortalized in a video game is definitely a lifelong dream for me. I gotta get that to happen for sure.
Yeah, it was a total surprise too. Like they didn't tell me they were doing that. And then the guy Mike just randomly sent me a message on Facebook one day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be in the game." And I was like, "Oh wow, that's fucking sick, dude." And he was like, "Yeah," and then you could throw people into your table, and then the ring will change. And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Fuck,
okay,
all right, cool."
Eric, you want to hit him with that second question before we wrap this shit up?
Yeah, just real simple one. What is just something you're thankful for today?
Waking up. Still being here. I've faced death a lot of times in life, probably more than I probably should have. Some self-inflicted, some a little outside of my circumstances, but just being here for another day, and being able to wake up and trying to not take for granted simple things. My stepdad, I know everything is a story with me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My stepdad, who my mom married when I was 3, and then they split like 10 years ago or so. So he definitely helped raise me quite a bit. Very healthy, very in shape his entire life. He has suffered 2 strokes this year, and the first one was a very physical thing, messed up the left side of his body. And then the second one was a very mental thing. And, just dealing with that and realizing all the shit that he's having to go through. And like, when he calls me and he's like, I could wipe my ass 85% of the time now. It's like, you kind of take, basic things for granted. So,
right.
Just being alive and, not being 6 feet under.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Before we wrap it up, I definitely got to tell you, man, the youth always say, give people their roses. Bro, your content helps me out a lot. You know what I mean? I work 10, 12-hour shifts a lot of time. I love to watch your content because I love that you just do not give a shit to be cynical. You do not give a shit to celebrate things other people hate. There are times where you say some shit, I'm like, you're fucking dumb. No way. Bullshit. But that's why I like it, because I can disagree with you and still enjoy it. I don't know. Your content, it makes a difference in my life. And so I would imagine you're making a difference in a ton of people's lives. And I've gotten quite a few like messages with people seeing us coming on tonight. Like, holy shit, I didn't know you knew RGT, blah, 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 blah. So people are, you're making an impact somewhere, man. So please keep making shit. I don't care. You can start talking about, bathroom curtains if you want. You know what I mean? I'll check it out.
my
Well,
next
thank you,
book.
man. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah. Definitely need to get at some point and get a physical meet and greet now that I bought your book, so we can get that signed as well. So I
Hell
can
yeah.
have one of them as well. Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll see you at Squared Circle Expo in
Yeah, I'll have to check that
March.
out. I'll definitely have to check that out.
Absolutely. Well, boys, you got anything else before we wrap this up?
Yeah, man. I had a wonderful night tonight. Glad to be back from vacation. We got about a month and a half or so before we go on a month vacation from Christmas to New Year's. So we got a bunch of good episodes lined up. We got Mitch Perry from Mitch Fest coming up, which is a badass metal concert that I will be playing at. So we got the promoter coming on to come talk about the show. The Casualties will be there. Playboy Man Baby, a bunch of other people. It's going to be a really badass show. So he'll be on Thursday. We got a bunch of other stuff brewing, some wrestling stuff coming, some Fathers on the Fringe coming. We got content coming your way. So make sure if you're new to us, please hit subscribe. If you've never heard of RGT, go check him out. He's got quite a few more subscribers than us, but he's been at it a bit longer. So we'll be there one day. But yeah, check everything out. Do all the stuff on the stuff. Do whatever your algorithm tells you.
Like, subscribe, listen, follow, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And as you can see down the bottom there, all the socials, YouTube, X, Instagram at DW_podcast, Facebook at the DW podcast, TikTok at DW_pod. And you can get our merch, dad merch, Pro Wrestling Tees, TeePublic, or message us directly. We'll send it to you. So yeah, like you said, like, subscribe, listen, follow. It really helps us out. Because we're just trying to, we say it all the time, just three dads out here trying to, make people smile every day. So until next time, top dads out.